Robin. Oh, even though Nolan said there was going to be no Robin. No.
That sounded like a D.
Shelley? Is Shelley the new Martha? Ryan, who's your Batman?
I would say my Batman is Ben Affleck.
Yeah?
And my Bruce Wayne would be Christian Bale. I just like the Batman Ben Affleck just because I like the suit and I do like the darkness of it.
Right.
But like of course it may have a little bit went too dark with the whole entire Martha and the
Martha's a dark
But I
name.
get it. It's like you're trying to protect your city and then this alien invasion comes on. Well, not an invasion, but technically an invasion because I like the
Make
scene.
up your fucking mind, Ryan.
No, okay, I forgot about Man of Steel, but I liked how they intertwined those movies.
And a lot of us can't forget it as much as we want to.
You didn't like Man of Steel?
I mean, okay.
I enjoyed it.
The fact that you're Superman and you can run really fast. Faster, like almost as fast as the Flash, right?
Uh-huh.
And people don't see him do shit all the time. You're meaning to tell me you couldn't save your dad? You couldn't even
I didn't get that.
See, that's the issue.
Dad's like, nah,
that's the issue.
You're gonna die.
That's the main issue for me with the Snyder universe. Is like, there's no optimism.
Right.
Like he could have saved you. He was like, no, don't save me. Like sometimes you gotta let people die. Or like in Justice League, like Martha told him, like, you ain't got to do anything you don't want to. You don't need to be the hero, Clark.
Yeah.
You just to live your life. We're like,
but his dad had the same mentality as a millennial. He's like, death is better. Go ahead and take it. Avocado toast. Let's
I'd
do
rather
this.
die than you save me and be the hero that you're capable of.
Why don't I remember?
being.
Like, why couldn't he just run to the underpass too?
Because Zack Snyder doesn't think things through.
That was too lighthearted.
Anyways, let's get the episode started. How's it going, everyone?
Not well. Not good.
Today was shit.
Despair.
Apparently, a lot of us had a bad day today.
Nah, everything's good, man. Everything's good. Just here for the redo.
Right. This is take 2 of Escaping Podcast, episode 3. The best podcast of Colorado Springs comic book bullshit. I am Daniel Rojas, as always. Whoa, threw my last name. Guess you can find me. To my left, I've got...
I'm yours truly, Kills for Show.
We've always got Gio in the studio with us. How you doing, Gio?
Hello, I'm here.
And across from us, we have our guest today. Who's that guy?
I'm Ryan, and I'm a plumber.
Whoa.
Nice. And per usual, we are recording out of Escape Velocity.
Yeah, and we do need to say at the beginning of this that our ideas and our opinions don't reflect Escape Velocity and their sexy crew, their sexy owner, or their sexy buildings. Just our sexy opinions, bringing you a sexy podcast.
Including bat nipples.
Oh, bat nipples for days. I mean, do you charge me the nipples? Free the bat nipple. And you know, there's an issue I want to take at the beginning of this. The men had the bat nipples, but Batgirl couldn't have the bat nipples? What was that?
Are we sure about that?
I don't remember it. I imagine if I had seen that as a child, there would have been a whole different movie. It would have been a lot.
Because they did the same close-up shots of the butt, the chest.
Yeah, just no nipples on hers.
That would make sense.
Does it?
But then, what about equality?
Exactly. But I mean, it was Joel Shoemaker. He's like, that's too hot. George Clooney Nichols. George Clooney.
Show me your nickels.
George Clooney nickel-sized nipples are too hot for me. And whoever the guy was that played Chris O'Dowd.
Chris O'Donnell.
Chris O'Donnell. Yeah, Chris O'Dowd is from the IT crowd, isn't he? Huh? Chris O'Donnell quarter-sized nipples are just huge and make me hard. If I were to see Batgirl nipples on a suit, I'd just lose it, said Joel Shoemaker in an interview with Wired, I want to say. He didn't. Don't look that up. So today we're talking about the DC Universe. Ryan, what's your history with the DC Universe? What got you into it, man?
Shun me if you will, but the Green Lantern movie.
We all got to start somewhere, man.
Al Jordan is my favorite Green Lantern. So I walked into.
Was it a phase where your family were they concerned?
Well, my brother worked at the movies, so he got free movie tickets all the time. So I was like, okay,
oh, so you didn't have to pay for it?
Nah.
Plus,
So it was a
Save your
low-risk,
green.
high-reward movie because he ended up being my favorite superhero from the DC universe, The movie was okay for me because I was probably 16 when it came out.
Sure.
And then I was like, this character's pretty interesting. And then I started reading, and I was like, wow, that movie kind of sucks.
Yeah, how long from seeing the movie until thinking about the movie did you realize it was complete and utter garbage?
I started on War of the Green Lanterns, that series, and I think that was right before the New 52 hit.
Right.
And
right,
so
right.
with the movie coming out and then New 52 coming out, I was like, okay, I can actually start reading comics, and then the comic shop down from my high school.
Not us.
Not you.
Wow.
But it slid me into the best comic, but they shut down, so I had no choice to come in.
Always second choice, but...
You gotta get your fit somewhere.
Number one in your hearts. That's Escape Velocity Comics, and that is the motto of the store.
As a customer for years, this is the best comic book shop I've been to, so...
We're not paying them to say that either, yeah.
Yes, free will, free
I've
thoughts.
made many good friends here. Good people, so...
Nice.
CJ?
That's about right.
And... Daniel
Melenes de Rojas. But Brian, now if I'm not mistaken, you're very pale of skin, but your ethnicity is a little more spicy.
Put me in the sun for a couple days and...
We'll see. You gonna be looking like atrocious.
Give me the
Kelsey, what about you, man? What got you into DC?
I guess what's fascinating about the whole DC thing too is we all know DC, whether you're a geek or not, because we all know who Superman is, we know who Batman is, we know what Kryptonite is, we know Bruce Wayne, the Batcave. My first earliest memories of DC would be the Adam West Batman show, the old school Batman movie. My granddad didn't watch a lot of movies.
Cesar Romero in that as the Joker.
Yes, that too. And Eartha Kitt as Catwoman.
Classic Eartha.
Giving people of color a chance, to do their thing. And but what actually got me into buying DC comic books, which was weird because I always had this thing being a Marvel guy, it almost felt like cheating on Marvel, or it felt wrong for having an interest in the comic book, even though we all watched the cartoons and the movies. Right. Just some people back during WCW and WWE, their feud, they was I watched one, but I don't watch the other. But then at the end of the day, it's all wrestling. So
yes.
I first started buying DC comic books when the New 52 was coming out and they was going to do the relaunch. So I was like, all right, this is a perfect time to get in. Mm-hmm. Let me start with the Justice League. So that's how I started buying DC comic books.
So what character would you say, we heard from Ryan that his is Green Lantern. What about you? Who's your favorite character?
My favorite DC character is Static. You might know him as Static Shock from the cartoon. Yeah, that was on the WB in the early 2000s. He's a character created by Dwayne McDuffie and other black comic book writers and artists that had an imprint in DC in the 90s called Milestone. And he's one of my favorites. Easily top 5.
I should have said more facts about Green Lantern.
I know.
Well, he had a movie and video games.
Kill Kane, 19 something.
Green Lantern was actually the fever dream of one Jack Kirby. Don't look that up. That's not factual.
And prior to that, there was a Green Lantern, Alan Scott, that had a magical lantern. But
it's not necessarily connected to the battery, but it's a whole...
But that's neither here nor there.
He had an allergy to wood.
Yes. That's what she said.
For me, I'd say my favorite character is going to have to be Martian Manhunter, man. There's just something great about that guy. Mean, green, and love-making machine.
Yes.
Him being the last of his kind, maybe he killed them all. Maybe he didn't. We don't know. We can't know. That's not for us. That's for the Martians.
Well, he buried them all, so.
Yeah, but so did the Doctor, and I love the Doctor. Doctor of Doctor Who fame. For me, DC was it was the opposing camp for a good long time. I was a Marvel guy growing up. Wolverine, Snick, Nightcrawler, as you heard, my favorite. Bamf, Snick, Flip. That's right.
Brimstone.
But somewhere along the lines, I want to say it was Teen Titans actually. The cartoon. You remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Not Teen Titans Go, but the original Teen Titans. And wow, that show was one of the best parts of my afternoons after school.
What's funny about Teen Titans when it initially came out, now it gets all this love. A lot of people hate it because it had all the anime influences.
Yes, and
now they love it.
It had the Hi Puffy Yumi people doing the theme song. What's really embarrassing that I'll admit on this podcast is I, as a child, pretended to know the lyrics, but I said that they were in Japanese. I didn't know until much later that they were singing in English.
Yes.
And I'm like, nah, you can't translate it. And years later, my roommate just stared at me like I was an idiot, which I was, and pulled up the lyrics. And wow,
like no, bro. That's the beauty of captions.
So if you meet someone that tells you that they can sing in Japanese, don't listen to them. They're probably singing in English. It's a whole fucking charade.
You're a phony.
A big fat phony.
So let's get into it. DC, a good place to start, I'd say, would be the comics. That's the original source material.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the comics, sir, Kelsey.
DC comic books, Detective Comics, how they started off back in the days. I can't give you like an official date, but they were like the grandfather of the big comic book scene as we have it now. The big two being them and Marvel. They had bought out a lot of companies like Fawcett Comics that had the rights to the original Captain Marvel. He now goes by Shazam. And yeah, they've been pretty much in the game since Jump Street, and they partnered with Warner Brothers. So
great partnership.
Yeah. Everything that's DC related comes through them, so they've been having all the control over their properties.
Well, and
since the beginning,
with their partnership with Warner Brothers, it I didn't notice it until I was a kid, and you start seeing Superman show up on, WB Kids, and he's flying around the tower, and you're like, wait a second, the Animaniacs can team up with Superman?
Yes, legally. Then you had Daffy Duck being Duck Dodgers and becoming the Green Lantern.
Fantastic.
Canon,
yeah.
Yes.
Did they have a crossover in the comics recently?
They did.
I think so.
They own Hanna-Barbera and Warner Brothers, so you got
the artwork in the Green Lantern and Space Ghost. If you got a chance
so
to read
good.
that, it was amazing.
No, they would cross. Oh my god!
It was
of course.
Who could we use?
How many rails do you think they were busting in there when they decided to do these crossovers? Just like,
oh man, they might be.
I was thinking that when they did Green Lantern Planet of the Apes. I was like, wait a minute. It's like me and him were talking about Green Lantern and Star Trek. I was like, that kind of makes sense.
Yes.
But okay.
Yeah. It's and
their lanterns, their planets probably have apes, and DC love their apes.
Oh, they love their apes.
They love their apes.
So with the original one, you were saying Adam West was the one that you really started off with.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about Adam West's Batman for a little bit, because I feel like that one was a little more whimsical.
Yes.
And
fun.
Fun. Brian, what's your take on the Adam West series?
The Adam West series, I think it was pretty like revolutionary, like at that part, because that was one of the first comic book to screen, and they had like the pow and like the kick and all that. And then it was like the colors and everything like that too. It was just awesome to watch, and it wasn't as, of course, it got way darker down the road, but like for its time, the first series, like it was perfect.
It was a time when Batman could go to the mayor's office for a cup of coffee, and he wasn't just disappearing. You'd see him and Burt Ward, Robin, running out the door to leave.
Yes.
They're like, we gotta go, and they're just sitting in an elevator.
Like, Robin, put your chair back in. We have manners. Like little things like that.
Did Mama Batman not treat you right? And he's like, I don't know, Bruce. It's a different woman each week. I don't know which one's my mom. So we've got the fun side of Batman. Later on down the line, we start seeing a little more of a change in the DC universe. More importantly, when Tim Burton stepped up and assumed the role of the cinematic universe director. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of a tonal shift, huh?
Yes. I think it had a lot to do with the 80s comic books like Frank Miller and things of that nature, making the Dark Knight dark. And with Tim Burton and his style, I think that was a good match for that, too, at the time. And with Tim Burton, you see him always draw on the macabre of the dark side of things. And he does it really well. You either hate him or you love him. There's really no in between. But
because I feel like it changed with the comic book too, and that's what's cool. Like with Green Lantern, like from the Silver Age to now, nothing's really changed. Like he didn't really get darker or anything like that.
Right,
that's true.
But now, like with Batman, it was like this bright, fun character. But like then, down the road, you get that really. Oh, he's trying to.
Yes.
I want to talk about Batman too.
You come in buy comic books but can't read a sign.
We put up the close sign, folks. We let people know that we're recording. Next thing, we're going to have a person out there in a costume just beating the shit out of people. Anyway, Ryan, you were saying about Green Lantern, the Silver Age to...
Yeah, so what I was saying, like some characters change and they don't. Like even Wonder Woman, I guess, kind of stayed the same. Like stayed the same throughout the times, but Batman was like a really dramatic change from you see all this color on screen to now the darkness of like what the Zack Snyder universe brought, and
he was the darkness. He was that Parallax Cloud in the Green Lantern movie that you love so much.
Oh, you thought it was over.
Well, it didn't even have a good plot, but I think okay. Are we gonna get into this right now?
I mean, we'll touch on it more. Don't worry. The more we talk, the more points I'm creating in my head for how much I hate Green Lantern. Fun fact: anytime I think I'm about to die, I'll say out loud, "I hated the Green Lantern movie," and I wait. I once thought I was having an aneurysm in my car. It was just a really bad headache, but I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, and I'm by myself. And I say, I hated the Green Lantern movie. And I sit there and I wait. The headache subsides, and I'm like, well, I'm ready. You know, like
Green Lantern's trash.
Just say movie after that. Cause
yes. Okay. Respect.
So we do see a little bit of the darkness when Tim Burton takes over, and it's very Burton-esque. You know, the penguin is tiny and pale, and he's eating the fish heads.
Yeah, very gothic, very sick. Yes.
But what can't you have Danny DeVito do? He'll do anything. He's amazing.
Yes, dope. The definitive penguin for a long, long time. So whenever they do bring him back to the big screen, it's going to be interesting to see how they play it up.
Doing that in this new one.
Yes.
Who would you guys cast as the penguin in this new movie?
Man, I mean, Danny DeVito was such a good pick for him.
I would have said Jonah Hill back when he was bigger, but
everyone hates skinny Jonah Hill. He's living his best life. I
do not hate skinny Jonah Hill. I just would prefer him bigger for that particular role. But I can't think of the actor's name, but he's kind of like Jonah Hill light.
Who's that?
Tatum.
If you say Josh Gad, I'm gonna freak out.
Is that who it is?
Wait, who is it?
He's built. He was in 21, the movie 21 about the card shark game.
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey was
the pedophile.
Yes, the pedophile. Before we all knew he was a pedophile. He was in that movie.
You want Kevin Spacey as
no Kevin Spacey, the kid, the best friend to the main character in that movie. That guy.
I don't know his name, but I know you're talking.
I know his face, but he'll be cool. He's a good actor.
He looks like Jonah Hill's cousin.
Yes,
Josh Gad.
Is it Josh Gad?
Is it Josh Gad?
Do you have a picture?
It was Josh Gad. No. I'm sorry. I don't hate Josh Gad. I loved him in Book of Mormon. Great stuff. I really appreciated Book of Mormon. Great musical. If you haven't got a chance, whenever it's on Broadway or even a local troupe putting it on, go see it. Well worth it. I appreciated his contributions as Olaf in Frozen. Fuck Josh Gad.
Or whoever played Varys in Game of Thrones. Get him.
I'll take that every day. Yeah. See, that's a good pick. Josh Gad, I love him. I can't stand too much of him.
Small doses.
Small doses of a big fella.
How did you... Because I know you guys didn't get too far into Gotham. But how did you like the casting for...
That guy was fantastic.
He
Skinny Penguin is also a good
He could have played most of Batman's roles. He could have been...
Skarsgård, one of the Skarsgård brothers. What's his name?
Bill?
Yes. I mean, he could...
The one who plays...
Pennywise.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be a bad pick. I do want someone a little more portly.
I could also see him as a Joker, though.
Yeah.
He would make a good Joker, but he could be any creepy person in my life.
You guys watch Castle Rock?
I didn't get into that yet, but I heard...
Isn't that where he plays the devil?
It's creepy. Yeah.
Oh.
It's a good show.
So, fan casting of Joker, aside from Josh Gad. I mean, that's your opinion, and I respect it.
Oh, word.
It's Josh Gad is your pick. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
What about you, Ryan? If you say Josh Gad, I'm going to flip the fucking table.
I can't put a name on it. I mean, after seeing Danny DeVito, and then it's just I'm not too familiar with, of course, the casting, names.
Right.
But I mean, just based off of those, I'm not sure. I couldn't name one off the top of my head, but from what I've seen, I just really like Danny DeVito, and I forgot the Gotham, the dude's name.
Christopher Walken.
Yeah, sure.
With his white hair and his cape?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Christopher Walken. You don't know Christopher Walken?
I do, but I'm not...
Apparently you don't know.
I don't think he played the Penguin. Oh, wait, are we talking about Joker, or...
Oh, no, I'm talking about the movie with the Penguin.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm trying to cast Penguin right now.
Oh,
yeah.
That's what I thought you were asking.
That's what I was asking. I thought you were talking about Christopher Walken in Batman.
You're full of shit.
and the toilet's that way.
So okay. Other than Danny DeVito, who you got? Anyone. Past, present, future, who would be your perfect penguin?
You.
Oh, stop. Again, with our guests that come on the show, there's just some sort of pheromone that's released in the air, and I become irresistible. For any singles out there, come on by the store when we're recording. The pheromones will take hold, and man, I would just love to make you some food.
Poison ivy's in the air.
For me, I know there were talks about Philip Seymour Hoffman being the penguin a long time ago, and I think he would have killed it if he hadn't killed himself. And that was a tragedy, because he was such a great actor. He was a really cool guy, but depression, it fucks a lot of people up. So no disrespect there, but Philip Seymour Hoffman would be my fan cast.
R.I.P.
That's right. So moving forward, we have the Tim Burton movies. We have the same Batman 2 movies in a row, which was crazy. That sequel, when you see Michael Keaton suit back up, you're like, oh man, back to Gotham, which is a cesspool of sin and debauchery. Tell me more about Gotham, you guys.
The City, TV show, all the above.
Let's talk about the City first. We'll get to that horrible TV show.
Chicago.
Is it Chicago, right?
It is.
It's perfect.
Because you've got Metropolis as New York.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you've got, yeah.
And then in the Snyderverse, they decided to put them right next to each other.
Oh, yeah, it was like crossed by a bridge or something like that.
Like, bro.
Yeah, does that mean Superman just turns a blind eye if it's across the Hudson?
With his super speed.
He could hear Batman.
It's all the lead in the water. He can't see that far. He doesn't know they exist.
No, but Gotham's one of those things, too, is like, has it ever been a shiny beacon of hope? So if Batman's trying to save it, can it be saved if it never was saved in the first place?
I think we're meant to believe in Batman Begins, the Christian Bale, Chris Nolan movies, that it was a shining beacon of hope when Thomas and Martha Wayne were around.
Mm-hmm.
And then they died, and
I'm
everything fell
starting to think
behind
if
them.
all the villains in Gotham just get homesick, because why just stick to Gotham? Because like they failed so many times. It's like, just go try Metropolis, go fight Superman.
I think they know that since Batman is just a man, they can get away with it for like 2 weeks.
I think he's a little bit more...
Right. They can do 2 weeks of crime, put away 1 week of crime's worth of money, so that way after they get caught, they come back and they got a little nest egg.
Yes, literally I was about to say. And the thing, too, if Superman was there, he'll wipe them all up, lickety-split. Batman, like you said, he's one man, so it takes some time to get here.
Exactly.
Superman round up everybody.
It's like according to like the Snyderverse, if it's like right there, be like, hey, yo, Superman, can I get some help? And then boom.
Good laser beam across the bay, like.
So we had our Tim Burton Batman, and then we had Batman Forever.
Yes.
And that was which
Val
Batman?
Kilmer.
That was Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer, unpopular opinion, is my personal favorite Batman.
Just making a lot of choices today.
Yeah, I still think Ben Affleck in the Batsuit is the best Batman. My favorite Bruce Wayne is Michael Keaton, but just because,
as a whole.
Yes, because Batman Forever to me was just a fun film, and the soundtrack was amazing. Kissed by a Rose is a classic.
Oh.
Without that movie, you wouldn't have that song, and one of the favorite moments of one of my favorite shows, Community, also.
Oh yeah,
happened because of that song. If you haven't watched Communities on Hulu, watch it all. I just want to say that
6 seasons in a movie. Let's get it. Let's get it going. 6 seasons in a movie.
I'm not Abed. I'm Batman.
You ever think about if you were a donut, you might just eat yourself because you're so delicious.
Man, I think about it all the time.
It's nice to know that I'm not alone.
Troy and Abed doing Batman.
So we get these new movies that are almost dopey. Not dopey in the same way we had the Adam West Batman.
Yes.
Because that was more of a fun, whimsical kind of thing. Mm-hmm. This was like the cartoons or the comics where the goons dress the same. They're on ice skates sometimes. They're there, like the Mighty Ducks doing the flying V's.
Yes, simpler times.
It was crazy.
Puns galore.
And the villains in that one were Poison Ivy, Bane, and there was another one.
No, and Batman Forever is the Riddler and Two-Face.
That's right. Right. And
Jim Carrey, Riddler, Tommy Lee Jones.
And Tommy Lee Jones kind of he went whimsical, which you don't see a lot with his acting.
Yes.
But oddly enough for that, with him being a sillier character, he couldn't stand the antics of Jim Carrey on set and outside of shooting. But Jim Carrey seems like a sweet guy when he's not doing peyote.
Yes, for real.
Nowadays Jim Carrey's kind of going.
Yeah,
a little bit. crazy.
Is he, or has he always been, and now we're all realizing it?
I think now he's, like, because I watched, like, a YouTube video of his, like, artwork or something like that. And, like, I don't know.
And yeah, the older you get, the more you stop giving a fuck. And
I think he...
So he's like, I'm rich, I'm odd, so what?
Right.
And if I was Tommy Lee Jones, I probably would be upset too if I'm at the craft table and some dude's talking with his butts next to the cracker and cheese spread.
I mean, we all know what Val Kilmer does on his time off, but what about Jim Carrey? Where was he during that moment?
Oh, he's right there.
They're both talking together, having a conversation about, like, politics and what's going on in the world.
Yes.
Do you know what I think about the president? And he just spread his cheeks, making him clap.
Who'd be your Batman?
Who'd be my Batman?
Uh-huh.
Oh, out of the ones that we've seen? Or just in general?
You know what? Name the ones that you love, and then cast your Batman.
I love Christian Bale's Batman. Not necessarily as Bruce Wayne, but in Batman, it was a Dark Knight, the Joker one, when... Batman he's this Doberman of a character, which is not a bat, but the pointy ears and the way he just stands there like exactly. He can't turn his neck. Yeah. It's fantastic. I'm like, there's your mobility. I love his Batman.
No wonder you can't see where all the drugs are going.
I also love Michael Keaton because I don't know if it was the lips in the suit. Yeah, they pointed wherever he wanted to go.
Is that the meme?
That's the meme.
Okay. That's him.
And you point your lips at wherever you're going. It's pretty great. But I don't know, man. I'd say out of those ones, it's between Keaton and Bale. But Bale's Batman does a lot of good work. The problem I have with Bale's Batman, and it's just a director point, is definitely Dark Knight Rises. You don't see a lot of Batman. You see a lot of Broken Bruce. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was out with the
Bane,
where he's trapped in the Bane breaks his back.
Yeah.
Which I never understood. Like, you break his back, and he goes to a cave to get it fixed, and he is suspended upside down in a cell, and somehow that miraculously heals his vertebrae.
Right.
And he crawls out, and I'm just...
Okay. It's a lot to take.
It's a lot.
DC Universe, yeah? What do you guys think?
I mean, well, look at what we've seen right now.
Where do you want it to go?
Where do I want it to go?
As for the movies, how do you feel about the current movies and how they're kind of getting better after Batman vs Superman?
Yeah.
How do you feel, Daniel? Where do you want this to go?
I feel like them pushing Wonder Woman back by as much as they have. Maybe it's giving them enough foresight to fix the problem before it gets too big. They're taking the time to release something of quality instead of something that's going to bomb like most of their recent movies.
I think they're trying too early. They're trying to play the rushing game,
right?
And that kind of screwed them because killing Superman in that movie, spoilers,
which they always do.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't necessary. Like, wait for the Justice League movie.
Exactly.
It's
have him die at the end of Justice League.
Because the whole situation with Marvel, Iron Man was your first movie, and then you killed him at the spoilers end. And 10
years later,
like you killed him because you had that emotional connection to like Robert Downey Jr. and his Iron Man, but Superman, you only with him like a movie and a half.
I saw him kill a guy, you know? I mean, same thing happened with my uncle, and I don't care for him much.
But I think Warner Brothers are just scared. Like, they had Wonder Woman finished, just like they had Batman vs. Superman. They pushed it back because they didn't want to compete with Civil War.
Right.
They were just scared. They should just give it to us. Well, what are you going to change in 2 years that you didn't get right?
It's almost like you say they're scared, and I think that's a good point because it's like there's a slow-moving killer, like a Michael Myers type, right?
Exactly.
Coming at them, and they throw the thing that they're supposed to throw at them, and it doesn't work. And so then they reach around for whatever's around them, and it's a football. Maybe a football will stop this guy. They throw the football at him. That didn't work. They keep going back until they're grabbing plush toys and cushions, and they're throwing it at the killer, and nothing's going to stick, nothing's going to work, unless they completely redevelop their strategy.
Yeah, they should have gave us Wonder Woman this November. I get them not want to be in the summer with Endgame and all this, but this is a
holiday movie would be great.
This is a perfect time. Thanksgiving. Thank you for another Wonder Woman. This is a sequel to your best movie in the DCU is Wonder Woman, and they almost messed that up because the whole scene was that No Man Land.
Yep.
The execs didn't want that scene in the movie, but Patty Jenkins forced them to allow her to shoot that scene, and that's the pivotal scene of the whole movie.
And you don't know real terror until Patty Jenkins is sitting on you with a butcher's knife saying, we're going to put it in there.
That scene was awesome.
It's going to happen.
Yes.
That scene was awesome.
Yes.
Especially with the trailer where she's holding the shield.
Like,
and then the song is going along with
right,
it.
yeah.
That part
That's
Standing
also another
moment.
theme we see in movies where, the song, they have these trailers that have older songs that go along with it, like a music video.
Yes.
That started with Suicide Squad, which had such potential.
Yes.
And you're asking me about the future of it. I'd like them to take these kinds of concepts and make them better.
Who's directing the next Suicide Squad? Was it
James Gunn.
James Gunn.
They brought him in.
when they fired him and then now
Quote unquote fired him.
brought him back after.
Marvel just told them we're going to give you a little bit of a longer
Grace
break.
period,
And,
it's just going to blow over. Nobody gives a fuck.
Well, we'll bring you back eventually, but then he says, I've signed on to, write and direct
And they get scared.
the Suicide Squad sequel. And they're like, wait. Hey, guys, if forgiveness isn't a thing, how do any of us learn? James Gunn, please come back. For the future, I'd like to see more, some weirder stories. I'd like to see some Grant Morrison type stuff, where you get into the weird cosmic things, you get into the magic users. I personally want a Zatanna movie.
That would be amazing.
Wouldn't that be good?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, that would be.
I mean, she's speaking backwards. You could even see Swamp Thing since his show got canceled, and you have all these characters. A Justice League Dark.
Yes.
And
Zatanna could be the back door into that.
Exactly. What about you, Kels?
With DC's latest movies being Shazam, Aquaman, I just want them to go more lighthearted, more fun, because the DC universe should be fun. The only person should be dark is Batman and like a lot of your magical characters, because that's the world that they live in.
Right.
So if they just could take that element and make their movies just fun movies, then they'll be winning too eventually, because that's the best thing about like the Justice League it was fun. Even though it wasn't a good movie, at least it was fun.
It hit all the right moments.
Yeah, it hit the right beat. Some too hard, you could say. But like for example, with Superman, he started off with Man of Steel on a bummer note. Superman's supposed to be like the beacon of hope, that light. That you see Superman come in, he's like, yay, he's here.
But everyone's just hoping that he doesn't snap their necks like Zod.
Exactly.
That's the hope that he brings right now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but
you guys were talking about that was like his first day on the job.
Yeah.
It was like
it's day one. I don't know what to do. He's trying to kill people. Even though he could have used the super speed, flow in, threw him out, then.
But day one on any job, when you start at Yogurt, you don't just go, okay, this is a little complicated, and snap your manager's neck. You know what I mean?
It's a little bit of a false equivalence.
Okay, fine. You don't start first day at Baskin Robbins and say this is a little complicated and snap the customer's neck. Is that better for you guys?
That works.
Listen here, lady.
Baskin Robbins always knows.
And she's like, I gotta have my Jimmy's.
I feel like that's what they did wrong with Green Lantern too, because you put one of Hal Jordan's biggest enemies on screen.
You shoot your load too fast.
And he defeats him.
It's a wrap after that.
We just lost Daniel.
It's a wrap after that.
Every time I bring up Green Lantern.
Which he was supposed to be rumored to be in Justice League as well.
It was originally Unite the Seven, and then they're like, oh shit.
But you saw like that beginning scene.
Yeah, with the
Green
lantern.
Was it? And he was in there for like 5 seconds, and then he died.
Like you're never going to see that again. Just like
the
a Green
weird
Lantern.
thing was, you heard a lot of people in the theater applaud when that Green Lantern died. And they were
Fans
just like,
want the movie. It's part of the lore.
Yeah.
It's like having an Avengers movie and you don't have your Thor in there at some point.
There's apparently going to be a 2020 Green Lantern movie. So I don't know if that's still happening, but
maybe.
And it was rumored that Christopher Nolan was going to be directing.
Don't want that.
But I think it would be. It wouldn't be his. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about
that's
that.
already too dark,
right?
Like not necessarily kind of like a Star Trek kind of flick, but maybe something more, because I do want like kind of after I saw the older Batman, like the more seasoned superhero, like who has more experience, like in the Green Lantern, like police force, and then like they could introduce like him and Jon Stewart, and then have maybe like either I'm not sure, like Simon Baz or like or even I forgot her
Kyle
name.
Rayner.
Jessica Cruz.
Kyle Rayner would be really
Kyle
cool.
Rayner's someone you need to have as almost an established in the
because
universe doing something else.
He's out there in space, being the space cop he is.
If you watch, like, I think they should make it for a little bit more of the reader standpoint.
Okay, yeah.
So you have these 4 like seasoned like characters, like Jon Stewart, Guy Gardner, Hal Jordan, and Kyle Rayner, and then you bring in maybe like 2 recruits.
Yeah,
and it would be a good way to show up the movie too, because then they can see everything.
That would be fantastic. You give the audience that point of view that they're experiencing, but with a character on screen that they can anchor themselves
exactly.
to.
Because here's what we've been through now. Now it's your turn.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like the audience is being inducted.
Exactly.
Green Lantern's
Like
and it's
almost
cool.
every DC movie should have a lantern in it in some way,
Absolutely.
so you can low-key tie it into everything.
Well, Loki's Marvel.
For
See what you did there.
For some reason, the Earth is so special that they get 5 degrees. 6
Sure, but it's also
the Earth is a hot ass mess.
I know.
You just need more hands.
It's
You
one
need
of those
more hands
things
on
where
deck.
Manhattan is like the biggest hub of
Superheroes,
hyperactivity in the
for
Marvel
whatever
universe.
reason.
So
Quote,
we've got these movies that take so much money and sometimes just bomb entirely, and then you've got the shows. The CW shows, the Arrowverse, which somehow, by some dark magic, has brought everything together and do these crossovers that not only please fans, but
Yes.
stay true to the comics.
Yes.
Showcase some of the sometimes dorkiest but best versions of those costumes.
Some
Yes.
of the episodes seem a little bit like, of course, they kind of have this pattern that all the shows go through, like where the first couple seasons are really, really good.
Yes.
Right.
But then, it kind of flows into that plateau of drama.
Yes.
But when
What
they
aren't
have
you
those
telling us, Oliver?
Exactly.
when they have those crossovers, man, it is the coolest thing ever, because you can
It's a
see all
breath,
the
a
heroes
breath of
unite
fresh
and all
air
that,
to.
It's
Yeah.
so many. It's like having one delicious cake, which is the Endgame scene of Avengers Endgame when the portals open and everyone comes through, and then you've got these little cupcakes made of the same cake, and that's what CW gives you when it's like, here's this year's crossover, here's another one, and you're like, oh, Flash is doing his thing. What's that? Batwoman's here.
I'm out.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm gonna check out Batwoman. I'm just not a fan of
Women being empowered.
No, I'm all about that. Trust me, I'm all about that. Death by Snoo. But I'm spaced on her name right now. But
Barbara.
Ruby Rose.
Ruby Rose. Yeah, I'm not a fan of her. Her acting is barely that.
She was in John Wick when I.
Yeah,
saw
she was in John Wick. She was in Pitch Perfect 3,
Halle
one of my
Berry was
favorite franchises of all
Oh
time.
man,
That's why.
I want to talk about Pitch Perfect.
Oh yeah,
That's a whole
Ever Moist. Are we gonna go there? Because I could go there.
Listen, okay, you
But
guys,
this is a DC podcast.
you guys
We
need
do
to
that
just
for another time.
get your heads on straight.
Sign up
and
for the Patreon to hear me and Kelsey's exclusive.
Zoom 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 zoom.
Exclusive Pitch Perfect podcast. No, but I think for the DC movies,
I'm about to do the cup song over here, and I got nothing around me.
I got a ticket for the long way.
No, she's a hunter. All right,
We will wait for the Pitch Perfect DC Universe crossover, and then we'll come back to
should
it.
get it. Just like they had a musical episode of Flash.
That was fantastic.
The gentleman, Grant Gustin,
Darren Criss,
and Supergirl, I'm spacing on her name right now, but they all come from Glee, and I'm a Gleek. So,
and fun fact about Glee, did you know that that's actually the show that they did to get the following and the funding to do American Horror Story?
Really?
Yes, because the creator of Glee also is one of the creators
Wasn't
of
the
American Horror
villain
Story.
in the musical crossovers, wasn't it like Mix Splits or something?
Mr. Flitz?
No.
No.
That's in Supergirl. This one is
Who
the Toon Tamer or some shit.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I realized like everybody on that show fucking sings. Cisco,
yeah,
Joe,
I know, right?
fucking what you call it, Merlin, all of them out there just doing that thing.
Oh,
so I was
yes.
like, all right, cool.
Joe West.
Joe West. But one of the things too, which I love about the crossovers, like they gradually get more grandiose and improve each season. Because we just started off with the Flash and Arrow teaming up, and then the next one we get Hawk Girl. All that Hawkman,
so
Vandal Savage.
I thought about
we
this.
spin off into the Legends of
It
Tomorrow
was such
series.
a great way to tether their shows together.
I thought about this like last night because I was reading through the Blackest Night storyline, and if they do this Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover with the Anti-Monitor, and
Which is going to happen.
it's
scheduled.
it's going to happen, and because I think as for the cinematic universe, they should stick to these like Elseworld maybe type tales, because they got 52 universes, they could do whatever they want.
Exactly.
Right.
But it's
Well, they can do 52 stories.
okay.
Unless you flip it into the dark metal universe, there's
Yeah.
another 52 of darkness.
Yeah, and then like because if
Can we
they
insert a
have this
guitar
crossover-
solo in right after you say Metal Universe? Just like a...
Yeah.
But if they do this Christ on Infinite Earths, and then they could do more with the Anti-Monitor, because the Anti-Monitor goes to this one planet. Like, after he gets blown to bits, he goes to this one planet, right? And it's Riot, which is a planet. And he ends up becoming the battery for the Black Knight. Well, the Black Rings.
For Necron.
Yes.
Oh.
I think if they... I would just love to see Blackest Night on a screen, but I'm
Any
not...
screen,
I'm
small
not,
or large.
Like, I'm not, like, just the... I think it's more stable to do it in... the current state of the shows, because they have so many characters.
Exactly.
And like, if they want to build towards something, they could maybe do that next.
Exactly.
Right.
And the thing, too, with the Arrowverse shows, they already have that type of aspect with the Legends of Tomorrow series that goes into multiple timelines and going back and correcting issues in the time stream. So I think it would be like a cool, maybe like idea if you have like the Monitor or the Anti-Monitor and he just sits back and monitors everything.
Right.
You kind of get him narrating like, so this universe. And then
What you do there is you start it almost like there's been a couple Doctor Who seasons that start off with the zooming in on a planet, and you hear like Amy Pond voicing over kind of like from days later what happened, and that's a great way to start a show. You know, you do kind of look like Rip Hunter too.
Thanks.
Rip.
Yeah,
Man, that was messy.
also he's Rory from Doctor Who.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Which is crazy because he played a sidekick to a time traveler, and then he's like, "I'd like to." Oh, sorry. Oh, excuse me. I'd like to be the time traveler this time, isn't it? And they're like, "What did you say?" And he had to write it down, but his handwriting's not very good. So you know.
And speaking
I need to catch up with that show.
and speaking of Rory's, Mick Rory, Heatwave, and Legend of Tomorrow is the MVP.
The segue master over here.
Of the Arrowverse. He has all the best lines. He's the greatest, man. I love him. Everything he says.
He's almost the
hits.
Drax of the team.
Yes,
isn't he?
and that works.
Yeah.
He doesn't get invisible. He lights shits on fire. Anytime you need somebody punched in the face, a sandwich ate, or some very well-written erotica, Mick's your guy.
Mick is your man. He does what he comes to do, and Legends is just such a cockamamie show that
It's a great show.
It's so crazy, it's fantastic.
Exactly, like they found their legs or their groove in season 2 when they were like, all right, we're the funny parody almost show, so each episode is going to be a niche or homage to some other type of medium or a time era or something.
And it's a really easy way to introduce new characters.
Exactly.
It is, yeah.
Because they're just
we got
so
Jonah
much fun.
Hex.
Exactly.
Yes,
That
two
was
times.
Two times. That was fantastic, and it's way better than
the
movie.
Too, yeah.
I can't believe I forgot. Well, I know why I forgot that
because
movie.
it's a bad movie. it's almost as bad as Green Lantern.
Shut up. You know, I enjoy it. You know what? That's my opinion.
Hey, you know what? Hey, some people wear Crocs and socks, and some people aren't sadists. So
Yes.
there's that.
I like it because it's the only thing I have, okay?
The Crocs and socks?
No, that and
I don't judge.
I wear my Crocs while wearing Green Lantern.
So do you think the future of DC in movies, TV, does it have to be as gritty as Zack Snyder wants us to believe?
No.
Or can it have more of a hopeful tone?
But I don't want him to be like, I don't want him to think like, every movie has to be so upbeat and hopeful.
I don't need every movie
I'm
to be
excited
upbeat.
for this Joker movie because it looks like it feels like the perfect feel of that Joker movie.
Yes.
Right, and something I think you and I were talking about before was how the empathy that we're feeling towards these villains nowadays. It's
Exactly.
no longer being evil for evil's sake, and it's such a different Joker than we saw with Romero. Was it Romero? Cesar Romero?
Yes.
Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, or God forbid, Jared Leto. Jared Leto, if there's any way you're listening, are you okay?
Yeah, he's fine. He's a rock star too. Like he's good.
Right.
He's
I just think
Morbius.
this, because as we learned in The Killing Joke, like it just takes one day for someone to become.
Of course,
the Joker.
yeah.
And I think it'll hit harder in this movie because all the people with like anxiety issues, depression, and
It's
like,
more out there. We're more
disabilities.
aware.
Yeah.
Exactly, and be like, they can relate to what he's feeling and how he feels, but don't become the Joker.
Right. It gets to be those, and not to malign any of our fans, listeners, or customers of the store, like what you like, but some things, it's like the couples that come in that say they want that Joker and Harley love.
Oh, I hate that. I
Because
hate
Joker
that so
is
much.
an abusive
God,
piece
I've
of
heard that.
shit.
Yeah, no.
He is not a good partner to have. He abuses Harley physically and emotionally and mentally, and he's got this hold on her. If you want any kind of Harley love, go with that Harley and Ivy love, because they are partners.
They belong in Arkham
Real
Asylum.
love.
If you want that shit, no.
But yes, because this is like one of them things too. Is like, do you not know what this relationship is really like? I get you're into the punk rock alt scene and those are the poster. Like, no, that is not good for anybody. It's toxic, and once she gets out of that relationship and gets with somebody normal, they gonna have to deal with all that crap that she was going through that, and it's hard for people to trust.
It's like when you see cops with Punisher logos, you know?
Yes.
It's not good, don't do it.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
Yeah, Punisher is just so everyone knows, is a character who breaks the law, kills cops,
Breaking the
and
law.
he works outside of the law, which is the opposite of what the cops do. That's just my 2 cents right there.
Yeah, and if I could add in my 2 black cents, that's just as worse as people with the Confederate flag, anything, and celebrating the 4th of July. You can't have it both ways. You lost.
Right.
You don't get to party with us.
And, Ryan, what do you got to add to that? Where's your political stance?
God bless America.
Well, so wrangling this back in, the Joker movie does look like it's going to highlight a lot of those issues. You know, it's going to be a different take. And we've seen the evolution of the Joker. We're going to do a whole nother episode on villains and mostly the Joker when that movie is coming out. So keep an ear out for that. But
and then we also have that new Batman movie apparently becoming a trilogy.
Yeah.
you know, and I got nothing against Robert Pattinson. I'm going to wait till I see it.
Yes, I learned my lesson after Heath Ledger. I don't judge anything
because
until I see the
they're
final
like,
product.
They're like learning from their movies and
Yes.
be like,
Right.
this will be a solid movie.
And you said it's going to be a trilogy?
Yeah, from a rumor I heard. But
Okay.
I believe it is.
So we got Batman, and then we've got Batman 2, Electric Boogaloo, and then, what is it, Breaking Dawn?
Yeah.
Nice.
Harley Quinn and a
Tickets
bunch of
available,
ladies.
man.
Was that released? Is that accurate?
I mean, you know, it is. It's in the universe now. It's in the collective unconscious, and you know, maybe they'll take it, maybe they
You
won't.
can call it whatever you
Yeah.
want.
You can have whatever you like.
New Moon's coming out too.
So, we've seen a lot with the shows and the movies, but I think the MVP of the DC universe
Red
is
Tornado.
Red Tornado. That's what was funny about that. After that episode, Supergirl, he never came back. Not even in the crossover.
That was the best costume I've ever seen.
Like, did they even try?
Yes.
That's the sad.
That's the sad part. They have
Like-
this budget. And it looks like they melted Crayola.
They gave us
I was like,
Grog.
get in here.
Grog looked amazing.
They gave us Grog versus King Shark, but they couldn't get a Red Tornado.
This is the height of TV.
You gave us Martian Manhunter,
It's
Deathstroke.
it's
The
like
list
when
goes
people-
on and on.
That's what I like. Cause I
10,000 CGI aliens.
And this guy's there. He was sitting under a heat lamp too long.
I feel like they really save up their whole entire budget for these crossovers because
Do you think fans know that and they're
the
okay with
running
it?
is terrible in the Flash.
Well, it's one of them things.
But it
Too.
is the same. He angles this way, he angles that
And the
way.
thing too, you don't even have to show him running. You really don't, because he's that fast.
Yeah.
He should always be there. Like, do you,
Have you seen the behind the scenes footage of like how the shows are created? It's just like Grant Gustin going like this, and Supergirl, and then there's like green screens everywhere. He's just like going like this.
but that's one of the things I realized too. Like, they do save their budget. Like, for example, Legend of Tomorrow. They specifically create reasons for Professor Stein and Jackson not to be in scenes together, so they can't turn in Firestorm.
Yeah.
And then Nate hardly stilled up ever. Like, they find a reason for him not to be able to turn it still. I'm like,
I feel like that's why they lean towards more the drama.
Yeah,
side
it was
more.
like,
because
dude.
they talk all these villains out of like
yeah.
we
We don't need to fight. We ain't got the budget for it. I could turn the steel right now and just knock him out. No, we don't talk to him.
You don't want to.
Use your words, not your fists.
Let Iris talk you down from this.
For real.
You're
goes-
better than this.
I don't know if I'm better than this. I've always been scum. I feel like scum. I'm always gonna be scum.
But scum has its purpose.
Oh God, you're right.
And then
I have a time ship
But
that you could be useful on as a custodian.
could you take me back to when my mom was alive?
No, it doesn't work like that. I'm sorry.
And then they gotta kill him.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Henry Cavill comes in. He's their cleanup crew. He's about just as fast as the Flash.
how do you
Knock him
like
out.
the what's his name, the Superman that's playing on?
He's good. He's very Lois and Clarky.
Yeah.
I liked how they brought the black suit in on that. Was it the last crossover? How he
that was cool. That was cool. That was.
But
nice.
Something I was going to say is their MVP of the DC universe is their animated movies and shows. None of their movies after Flashpoint, I'd say, are bad. None of the ones after Flashpoint are bad because that's when we start seeing more of the current comics.
They're decent. They're not all great, but
I mean,
they're decent.
It starts off very slow. It does building, and then once the action kicks off, the movies just take off.
Yeah,
but you got to sit through a lot of animated people sitting down in a cafe talking like, "Well, that was the day when I truly."
I'll go back one further.
That's what kills me about the CW shows is like just the drama.
Under the Red Hood was the start of
such a great movie.
When they dropped that one, still like
that
top
still
3.
Kills me at the end when you see him like, why didn't you kill the Joker? Why didn't you do this? And then at the very end, when Jason Todd is gone and beaten, you see a flashback to him as a kid being like, "This is going to be the best thing ever." And Batman's
look what I can do, Batman.
And Batman's like,
little scare.
"You're gonna be traumatized."
We have issues.
Alfred's just there hugging young Jason Todd.
For real, it's like, yo.
So, out of the animated movies, they seem to be doing well. Even the Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover.
Mm-hmm. I read the first series of that, and that was really, really good.
It's done a good job, man. I thought it was going to be dopey at first.
Mm-hmm. I didn't.
And then it starts off, and some dude just gets killed right there.
It kept like the same because even like. The Turtles they work in Gotham too because they work in like that gritty New York.
Yeah.
And then for him to cross over with Batman, it was just like,
it makes sense because one of the things you hear like Batman, Ninja Turtles, but it's like no, they're both ninjas. They both fight crime. A lot of times in sewers, dark. They both have vehicles, and it just works. And I was surprised how close it was to the comic book. And that animated movie is like one of my favorite movies
it was really good.
of all time.
I haven't seen the movie.
It's great. It has probably one of my favorite moments of anything.
Which moment was that?
Just the fact like you have Batman eating pizza.
Yeah, right.
Like normal.
When do you see Batman eating
Batman
pizza?
said "Cowabunga." And just even like
those normal things that you like to make because it's weird because Batman is kind of like sort of the least human out of like even like Cyborg,
right?
And like just those moments of him, he's an actual person.
I like the moment when he and Mikey bond over both their moms being named Martha after Mikey snapped that dude's neck.
And we're done here.
But
you guys don't remember that? Was that not in the movie?
No, that wasn't that one. But
weird.
That was in one of the 52 dark metal universes.
Pretty controversial stuff in this podcast.
Yes.
So I'd say one of their big failures in the animated movies though was that Bat Ninja. It wasn't very good.
I'm gonna disagree with that. Bat Ninja, I own it on Blu-ray. I'm an anime fan. It was fun. I'm
an anime fan
It doesn't make any sense, but it's a nice piece of art. Like it's cool. It hits all the tropes. I was watching. It was like Batmobile. It's gonna turn to the Batwing. It's gonna turn to most. Then I was like, watch. It's gonna turn to Bat Armor. Turn to Bat Armor. It gives you all of that. Some of the story is like, but I think it's a good watch. You might not have to own it like me, but I definitely would recommend checking it out.
I mean,
because Batman is a ninja.
Yes,
he's James Bond. Is
it necessary for all ninjas to be orphans, or
no? Not all ninjas. The 3 ninjas had parents.
That's right.
They were trained by their Asian.
When was the last time you saw 3 ninjas?
Knuckle Up or the first one, or High Noon at Space Mountain or whatever it was called with Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan, man, yeah. They were 3 brothers. He was calling everyone brother. It was the biggest crossover until Batman and the Turtles.
Did you post that meme? Sorry, Hulk Hogan.
Test results came back. Not everyone's your brother.
Yes, but that's one of the elements that makes Batman Batman. He's like Sherlock Holmes. He's a ninja, and James Bond all wrote in one. And that's why it's kind of tough to get a definitive Batman in a cartoon or anything because there's so many layers to him. But we all could agree that the animated Batman cartoon show was like the grandfather of all this animated.
Well, and we're even going to get Kevin Conroy in this live-action Infinite Crisis.
Yes.
He's suiting up as Batman for the first time.
Which is great because you guys are saying that they even brought back the actor from the old Flash series too.
Yes,
like you have all these characters at your disposal, that you can put into this big event.
It's a sandbox, man. It's fantastic.
Throw all the toys in.
And it'll bring a whole bunch of viewers in too.
Yes.
And plus all the crossovers are just amazing. Well, it's always cool to see all those characters.
Do you remember when you were a kid and you had a mismatch of toys and you'd have them all and like just interacting and you're like, now this is how movies should be, you know? The CW verse, the Arrowverse does that. It's like, hey, yeah, you may have seen this character once or twice, or you know what? Maybe we're just going to bring back Smallville's Tom Welling, or we'll have Brandon Routh play.
Brandon Routh.
He's playing Kingdom Come.
Yeah, that's cool.
You even have what was it? Jay Garrick when he met John Diggle. He was like, "Where's your ring?
Yeah,
where's your ring at, John?"
I think somebody like Jon Stewart in like the. Not like as a main character, but if he pops in once or twice.
Speaking of that, like anime, what if they have Phil Lamar come on and be Jon Stewart?
That would be really.
He voiced him for all this, like how Kevin Conway is the voice you hear of Batman for a whole slew of people.
It's for a lot of people. They hear it, they know it. It's like hearing Mark Hamill do the Joker.
Yes,
Troy Baker's really good, but you hear Mark Hamill do that Joker laugh, I still get chills.
And the voice actor for Cyborg too.
Oh, booyah!
Booyah!
So we see the animated, movies doing a little better. What movies do you guys want to see in the future of DC Universe?
I'm gonna give an animated one, and I'm gonna give a live
let's go around and
action.
do an animated one and a live action one.
Animated, I would love, since we already talked about Batman crossing over with the Ninja Turtles. They have blessed us with a Justice League Power Rangers comic book.
Oh,
so I would love to see an animated Power Rangers Justice League comic book, and just for the fact, like Zach brings up the fact, like Batman's a good guy. He's dressed like a villain, and seeing Lord Zed team up with Brainiac, it's dope. It's dope. And as far as live action.
Hell, I'd take that one as live action too.
That too, but they could barely get one Justice League movie right. I'm not going.
And one Power Ranger movie, which I personally love.
That was one of my top 3 favorite movies that year. That, Logan, and Thor: Ragnarok. But I'm not going to tell you how many times I watched that Power Ranger movie. But it was a lot. When
they hit that classic "Go Go Power Rangers,"
yeah,
I lost my shit in a theater.
And the one thing about that movie, kind of like Justice League, is they just couldn't find the tone. They didn't know if they wanted to be real world or campy. But that's neither here nor there. But for a live action movie, I would definitely like to see, like I said earlier, my favorite superhero, Static. Give me a Static Shock movie.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
And low key set it up for a possible Teen Titans movie. Because at the end, you could have like a Robin, like send him a message or something like, "I would like to meet you," or something along those lines.
Real quick fan casting, who would be your Static Shock? 10 seconds on the clock.
I can't think of his name, but old buddy from Dope and that voices Miles in Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah,
I think it's Shamik, and he was also on The Get Down on Netflix. Mm-hmm. That's my top pick.
Dope was a great movie.
It was. Very underrated. Completely. If you haven't seen Dope, check it out. You know why? It's dope. Yeah, I did it.
Ryan, what about you? What animated movie do you want to see, and what live action movie would you like to see?
Animated, I think... So... Animated, I think it would be great for Blackest Night, of course.
Oh, great.
But even though I'd love to see it on the big screen, I don't think it'll ever happen just because the biggest, like, the years of making all these movies.
Right.
I think, but if they want to build towards something, go for it. But I feel like CW might have the upper hand on going towards that that direction because they're already at Crisis on Infinite Earth,
which we never thought we'd see on TV ever.
And that's what caught me on the Flash because you would be like, oh, the newspaper article, like the red skies. The Flash
that's dope too.
But as for live action, it kind of just popped in my head. It would be cool to see kind of a new take on the Injustice series too.
I was thinking Injustice having that Elseworld
because you guys saw the opening cinematic for DC Universe.
It's a movie in itself.
That's right. Yeah,
something like just
with Lex coming back from the future.
Exactly. Like,
is it really the future? He says it is. We don't know.
Yeah, just kind of like a blend of those. But the Injustice, since they're doing those Elseworld, like if they stick to maybe like these Elseworld, like. Oh, here's what's happening in this universe, and not worry so much about having this whole huge crossover to defeat.
Just kind of like one-shot movies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so if they do this pretty cool, like Injustice, maybe do like a 2-part movie, and then just be like, here's. I know it'll be dark, of course, but I mean, it would be a cool movie. I mean, that's just something interesting that I'd like to see in the future.
That'd be a fun one.
Yeah.
Green Lantern does play a pretty good role since he is part of the Sinestro Corps in that movie, or the Fear Corps, I guess.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Sinestro, but who would be your fan cast as Green Lantern?
There was a couple.
10 seconds on the clock.
Nathan Fillion.
Oh, yeah.
He's
that's Hal Jordan, I'm assuming.
I mean, he's hot to all moms. So
there was this rumor in Batman v Superman. There was this guy named Dan. I forgot his name, but Dan Ambroyer or something like that.
Okay.
But he was kind of like a Broadway actor or something like that. And everybody was rumored like he was supposed to be Hal Jordan because he was in like the Ferris aircraft, kind of like pilot.
That's pretty cool.
He wasn't a pilot, but he was kind of like the flight director or whatever, like something like that.
I'd buy that.
It's pretty hard to put like a finger on like the actor that you want, but I heard a rumor that Denzel Washington was going to be Jon Stewart too. I was like, I ain't mad at that.
Put Denzel on any role I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. Anything.
For me, animated, I would like to see either New 52 Wonder Woman, because I loved that series where she finds out the gods are having kids with mortals again, bringing new
and they are giving us a new Wonder Woman cartoon too.
Right,
which is interesting.
I personally would love to see...
I want your version too.
Because that Wonder Woman, you could do so much with it, and that would be such a really fun idea.
Then you could tie in Aquaman too, because Poseidon had a kid, and tie that into
personally, it's either that or for live action, Kingdom Come. I want to see a dark future.
I want to see Superman get his ass beat by Shazam.
Oh man,
that's one reason Shazam is my favorite hero. Anybody could whoop Superman's ass. I said it before.
So we're getting to the end of the show here. Quick questions. We're going to do a quick speed round. 2 questions on the clock. Well, they keep saying the clock like there's a clock around here. There is no clock. 2 questions for you. Yes and no, and maybe why. First question, does the Snyder Cut exist, and should it be released? Ryan.
I think it exists, but it's not complete. If these people want it to come out, then it's going to be, like, brutally incomplete. You're going to have scenes, like, if you were to compact it in a whole movie, then you would have, here's this, but then here's, like, a storyboard of what's happening.
Right,
and then, here's a script of what I wanted. So I don't think it would be, if somebody is a diehard fan and wants to go and buy it, then sure. But I don't think it's what am I trying to say? It's there, but it's not complete.
So it should be released or shouldn't then?
Do whatever they want. I don't care. Like they can
it's
your
thing.
They can
do what you want to do.
But he keeps on teasing these pictures, and I'm like,
for like 5 years now.
Yeah, I mean, do without that you will.
Because Justice League came out about 12 years ago, right?
Yeah, it seems like that. And the thing too, like where things get leaked, just how like they leaked the Deadpool script,
right?
If he had any. It would have found a way. I'm gonna say no and no. I don't think it exists, and it shouldn't, because we don't need these conversations to continue. Let it be a myth, because once you give that theme to the world, then people are gonna like break it down. This and that.
Right, with it not existing, it has more life than if it did.
Yeah,
like he's a genius.
I'm like, why are we talking about this thing that didn't happen when we could talk about
what's happening now?
Exactly.
And then the people will be like, no, I didn't want that. I did not want that at all.
Do you want it? I know you love being
Zack Snyder, he's my favorite person to hate. God, if he had directed Green Lantern movie, I don't think I'd still be here. I think
that would have been the Darkest Night.
Yeah, right.
Or Blackest Night.
I think I would have found a quick way to end it. Zack Snyder. That's not even. I'm not gonna tell you.
So you didn't like Watchmen?
Watchmen was fine.
Okay.
It was fine.
Okay, I just had to ask that.
But did you see the 3-hour extended cut?
Yes, I just bought it from. I bought it from an Entertainment Mart for $5.
I actually feel like the extended cut for Batman v Superman was a little bit. It was better because it gave Lois Lane more purpose because she's doing all that investigation on the bullet. It just gave her more purpose other than throwing.
Okay, so Zack Snyder has his things. I'm going to go ahead and say it does exist. But on a whiteboard, not even written down at his home.
They erased it.
Yeah. Like there's parts where he comes back and rewrites it. It's not a complete thing. It's more of an idea, and this idea they're not going to let die.
The Flash is going to run back real fast.
Right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think it does exist in that sense, but it should not be released, or if anything, released so that way we're over it. Like you said, no more. So, the second question. Pennyworth. Is it Pennyworth or is it Alfred or is it Pennyworth? Pennyworth, the most useless TV show we've gotten since Gotham. Is it worth your time?
It's going to be Pennyworthless.
Hey! You bring in guests and you don't know what kind of gold they're going to bring to these things. But
copper.
Ryan Reyes.
Waiting for that one since I woke up this morning, boys. No, but
I got it.
Sort of with Gotham, I feel like this show is going to take a turn to where they're going to give us too many Easter eggs to Batman and Thomas Wayne and all that. Because I feel like that's the mistake that they made with Gotham is they introduced Bruce too early, and it's just you're like, it's something because it's like mini Batman fighting with mini Catwoman, fighting like mini Joker.
Like, where's all the cool shit?
They're all little babies.
Hello, I'm Bruce Wayne. I'm coming here. I'm gonna kick your ass, Master Bruce. Don't use such language. Oh, you're right, Alfie. I've been about, little boy. Best spank my little bottom, eh? All right, Master Bruce. So you guys didn't see that in Gotham?
Nope.
I missed that episode.
Yeah, there's no umbrellas with machine guns in it.
Right, where are the suicidal penguins?
No human-sized Venus flytraps. None of the cool shit. None of the cool shit.
I feel like it's just gonna take that turn. And if it doesn't, then great, more creativity to them.
Really? Because I feel like it needs 6 episodes and then to be promptly canceled.
Yeah, no, I think a mini-series on that, because is he really that interesting of a character?
He's not.
Yes.
He's not.
And it's unlike Peggy Carter, where it actually took place in the MCU, and we know how these things connect.
Right.
Like, DC had a solid universe. Like, all right, Alfred would be like the linchpin. Like, this happens. This is started with Checkmate or Argus. This is the one they had to deal because they had to deal with metas. Vandal Savage because he's alive for a long time.
But you know it's not going to be that. It's going to be Thomas
and
and Alfred playing cards in Burma.
Picking up bitches.
Yeah, see, like, little things like that. Yeah. It's like, come on, just let me have...
Come on, Master Thomas, you gotta find one day. Nah, fuck that.
You know,
there's a bitch named Martha, and that's how the series ends. He meets Martha.
Why did you say that name? And he's like, Alfred, this is a weird thing to say, but I've had a lot of sake today. If I ever have a kid and I get killed, or I don't know, man. I don't know. This is weird. We talking about death? We talking about death, Alfred? I don't want to die. If I die in an alleyway, would you take care of my kid? You take care of my kid. Look at you. I love you.
They're probably going to be like, I may need you someday.
Oh, bullshit.
Or we'll meet some dude like that, somebody that saved his life. Like, what was your name? Bruce.
Oh, yeah.
I like that
name.
Yeah,
but then it turns out that Bruce was actually the town idiot.
Oh, no, it was actually Bruce Wayne, because he time traveled back to the past.
He pulls a Justice League and, like, Flash, he's like,
or like when he, quote-unquote, died, and he was a caveman, Batman, pirate bat of the Caribbean, he created the whole Ninja Bat Clan.
I mean, we can't talk about comics and not talk about how ridiculous they are,
yes,
but I think it's going to suck. Yeah. Personally, I'm not excited for it, and I'm not going to pay any streaming service for it.
And it comes on Epics. Is that irony?
Really?
Yes, I believe
not
so.
Even the DC?
No. They have nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it.
All right, I think that's going to wrap up the episode today, guys. Ryan, thank you so much for being here today, man.
I am very glad I got to be here.
Man, pleasure's all ours.
Exactly.
Any plugs you'd like to get in?
Yeah, I'm in a band with my father and brother. We go as Trinary Band on Facebook and Instagram, and also my buddy who does all of our artwork, and he also makes his artwork for himself, and he has some up for sale. He's kind of like a Renaissance type artist. He makes amazing like oil paints and all that.
Damn!
At Devin. Oh, sorry. At It's Devin Crow with an E. So on Instagram, and you can also find him on Facebook, and go check him out. And
we actually featured your song last episode, and you do our theme song.
Oh yes, thank you so much.
Yes,
for doing that.
Yeah, thank you for the theme song, man.
And all the escapees, thank the man yourselves.
Right. Kelsey, you got anything to plug?
Not anything personally, but I will say if you don't have the DC Universe streaming app, you should definitely invest in that, even if it's just for a month, and binge out on all the great shows that they have. Titans. Doom Patrol is like one of the best comic book series of all time, TV series wise. Swamp Thing is also great, and they have Young Justice, arguably one of the greatest animated superhero series of all time. So that's my piece.
Did Swamp Thing make it through more than a couple episodes, or is it an actual full season?
Oh, it's an actual full season, 8 episodes, but it was supposed to be 13, but budget reasons.
You know how DC gets. They let you love something and then they kill it like Superman.
Well, you like this?
Exactly. And if you want to follow me on social media, Kels_4show on Instagram, Kelsey Greer on Facebook, and yeah.
Mine is Blue Morpho with zeros instead of O's, and Daniel Rojas on Facebook. Ryan, where can we find you?
On Facebook as well. Just Ryan Reyes. Search me up.
And we got some exciting news here today at Escaping. We're doing our very first giveaway. Check out us on Facebook. Check us out on Facebook.
You know, you don't speak for the whole goddamn episode, and then you come in and
you had one job.
You want to try take two since that seems to be the theme for today?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
All right, we've got some exciting news here today at Escape 8, and we're doing our very first giveaway. Check us out on Facebook and also follow us on Instagram at Escaping Podcast for rules, eligibility, and the chance to win some awesome DC Universe goodies. If you also happen to be into improv, check out Unsupervised Improv on August 22nd at the Carter Payne. Check them out on Facebook. You can also purchase tickets for the show at artxcolorado.org.
And today's book of the week for Escape Velocity. Again, thank you for letting us record here. Our ideas, our opinions, our views do not reflect the so sexy crew, the sexy store. Oh,
I'm not your boy, toy.
You know, you come in the store.
He's doing up the band.
You come in the store. You feel the sex. You feel the lust. You feel the drive to buy all the comics. But despite that, they don't necessarily have the same opinions as we do. We are just privileged to be able to record here. Their book of the week this week is Pretty Violent #1 from Image Comics. That's from Derek Hunter and Jason Young, and it's the start of a season premiere. Gamma Ray wants to be a superhero, and why shouldn't she? She's been strong since she was a baby. The only problem is all her siblings are notorious hero-murdering criminals. Don't you hate when that happens?
Yes.
That's the worst. Join artist Derek Hunter from DuckTales and Adventure Time and writer Jason Young from I Hate Fairyland for this all-new, ongoing, gore-filled, laugh-out-loud comedy for mature readers that explores one girl's journey through the rift between personal and family identity. That is Pretty Violent #1 by Image Comics. Today we're going to leave you with Dead Lovers from A Bad Night for a Hero. That's my roommate's band. They're amazing. Go check them out.
Hey,
Shout out to CJ. Hey.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Hey.
All right, folks. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. And remember, there can only be one chum bucket.
And always remember, you don't have to be trapped by life when you can be an escapee.
She saw you, must let know you left for me. I couldn't let this go, even outside of a dream. The sun is shining again, and I'm more than slightly obsessed with the ghost of the girl on my car.